What's up, lemon heads? Welcome back to another episode of From the Yellow Chair. I'm Crystal, and today we're going to talk about how we like to sip on strategy and squeeze out the sour spots of branding and marketing. But today, specifically, we are peeling back the top 3 mistakes we are seeing home service companies make. And trust me, they're a little zesty, a little messy. But guys, they're totally fixable, right? So you're going to want to buckle up, grab your lemonade, because today's episode is called Promo, but No Mojo. So let's talk about what we see people doing wrong and how we're going to fix them. Let's sip some lemonade. All right, so I just wanted to come back in here and say there are so many cool things going on in marketing right now. There's all these ideas and all these trends, and everybody's doing everything and all the things. And we just need to take a deep breath, right? Because you know what's out of control right now? The amount of knowledge, the amount of ideas, the amount of vendors, the amount of strategies. You should be doing this. Why aren't you doing that? That is going on in our industry right now. So much, it's very noisy right now. So here's what we're going to do, and what Lemon Seed's job is normally to be, is let's get organized and structured with our thoughts and realize we cannot do everything. We can't be everything to everyone. But there are 3 advertising mistakes that I have seen, my account managers and strategists and marketing coordinators have seen, that we know contractors are not doing this on purpose. It's just lack of bringing it to the surface and bringing out some attention to it. So let's start with number 1. Spray and pray marketing. Spray and pray. We just throw all kinds of stuff out there and like, dear Lord Jesus, if you can please make this work, right? Guys, blindly posting social media stuff, blindly running ads with no target or no tracking, doing things just because you've always done it, not measuring it, relying on generic run-of-the-mill ads. If you look at your ads, and anyone that does your same service could run that same ad and have that same graphic, that's not it. Look at your graphics and go, does this look like any other company could use this? You should not be using such templatized things if you can help it. But more than anything, I'm telling you, the spray and pray method here, that mistake is because you don't have a strategy for what you are doing. And some of you are just like praying and hoping that something sticks. But let me tell you, the issue here is that you're flying blind. You probably don't have good tracking. You listen to any little guru that throws out something new, like, you should do this. And like sometimes if I throw in like cool sneakers and some cuss words, y'all are like here for it. Y'all are like, sign me up. Right. But at the end of the day, it may not be a good decision for your style of business or your price point or your market or your brand. And so you got to stop doing things so blindly. And Lemon Seed's whole goal here is to help people be more intentional with a strategy. So even if you're not using Lemon Seed to help you build out your advertising strategy and what vendors to use and how to do those things, you still can be strategic. You just need to stop praying that things stick. Listen, if you're aggressive, things aren't going to stick, right? You're going to be bold and you're going to try new things that don't work. But the only way that we get out there and find some cool, unique things is to try things that are cool and unique and risky. So we don't want to have the spray and pray method. What we want to have is a risky yet strategic approach to being active and out of the box thinking for our marketing strategy. So the fix to this, that mistake of spray pray ideology here, the fix to this is dial in that ideal avatar. So again, a lot of you know this, but Lemon Seed performs ideal avatars and branding audits for all of our clients. When you onboard with Lemon Seed, that's part of what the process is. Because if you're thinking that you're going to market to everybody and everybody's your customer, I know where you're going with that. Like, I understand your thinking, but really at the end of the day, everyone cannot be who we direct and curate your marketing strategy around. We have to pick a lane. And when I say that, we have to understand who we are writing ad copy for. Who are we creating promotions for? Who are we doing these social media trends for? Who are our emails written for? right? When we design our culture book or our sales book, who are we designing it for? Well, you can't design it for a 20-year-old male and a 60-year-old female. Their design preference, the way they think, their terminology, all their verbiage, all of that's different. So dial in that ideal avatar, understand really who you are talking to. Use data tracking, use data to guide your ad placement. So if you're on a CRM that does not have tracking in there, please look at CallRail. Add CallRail, get you some phone numbers, attach those phone numbers, and then that at least lets you know call amount, quantity of calls coming in. Because right now, many of you are like, hey, you know what I want to do? Fly this airplane, but hey, let me cover your eyes. And so you just guess, are we close to the imploding or not, right? So you have to stop doing that. And then be intentional with your timing and your messaging. So, at Lemon Seed, we do everything in a quarter because that's like the easiest kind of visionary way to see your ad calendar for the year. You can shift it up and down a month, but overall, seasonality is kind of where you want some changes, right? But be intentional with that timing and that messaging. So, marketing is not like a water sprinkler, it's a laser beam. It's a laser beam. So we don't want water spraying everywhere. We want to be laser focused on who we're talking to. So number one mistake that we're making, spray and pray. Throw it out, see if it works, pray that it works, and go on about our business and really not have a plan. The fix to that is get strategic. Get an organized plan of when and how you're going to do it. And while you're actively needing to do it is not when you should do it. I really encourage you to do this at the end of the year. Plan out your whole year from a very 30,000 foot view, and a quarter at a time, get down in the weeds and get down in those numbers and pivot where you need to pivot based on data. All right, number two, my little fun name for this one is called Sapiens Syndrome, right? Sapiens Syndrome is being stuck in caveman marketing. Just like $49 tune-up, right? In every ad with no brand voice story, no value beyond, hey, it's $49. Come on, call me. We cannot live in this cycle of everything's a tune-up, right? So get it. That's a really good strategy. We actually deploy this strategy quite often because it's a low barrier of entry offer. It is affordable. So when people know something's wrong and they might not can afford $49, if your ideal avatar is an affluent double income home, $49 doesn't matter to them. Right? So it's not a race to the bottom of a pile of cheap contractors. We don't really want to be the bottom, but it depends on the intentional strategy, right? But we have got to get more customized offers and campaigns. So if you're just throwing out there, oh, well, what is your campaign? A $49 tune-up. Well, really, we want campaigns. Think about Geico. Think about Liberty Mutual. Think insurance companies are killing it right now. But even think about Bronco, right? And how everything is rugged and tough and cool. Those are all campaigns. Those are our vibes. Nike and the Just Do It. Those are like true brands, but they also launch these campaigns around women in sports and things like that because you got to kind of change your story up some in your advertising verbiage and your visuals. And I learned this word from my graphic design team, iconography, the icons that you're using and things like that. In every single thing you do needs to reflect your brand, but also it's got to help you stand out. So in a pile of $49 tune-ups, go look at the last time you sent that graphic out. Could any other company in your market use that same graphic? Probably. A lot of you are using canned things from different vendors. Like, well, they designed my postcard. Well, you know what? They have 6 templates, right? So you need to, like Lemon Seed, I'm always trying to rock a boat. Okay. I'm always trying to say, let's change that design around because I need our things to stand out. I need them to be on brand. I need them to be constantly brand building, but also urgency to book with me, right? So the biggest fix here is evolve your messaging. Tell stories. Showcase your team. Highlight cool things about your culture. Make the promo the actual sidekick of the plan, not the actual headline. So building out your messaging should really be all around a campaign or your brand messaging, all of that together, right? So again, if you just got a $49 tune-up that's red and blue with a snowflake and a sunshine and, spring into summer. Okay, listen, everybody and their mama and their grandpa, uncle, baby, sister, cousin is doing that offer. We have to think outside the box. We should not say, oh, yeah, I'm so creative. I'm doing spring graphics during spring. You know what? I was really powerful thinker here. We have tulips on our spring postcard. Yeah, that's great and wonderful. And you know what? Does it get the job done? Yes, but does it move any real needles? Probably not. Probably not. But many of you are afraid to think outside the box. You're like, but what about the tulips for spring? I mean, I didn't do Easter bunnies for Easter. You know what? You know what never gets anywhere is mediocrity. All right. Mediocrity never grows us. Okay. We just ride right in the middle. So for those of you that are listening, here's a pro tip. For those contractors like, why can't I get over $1 million or $3 million? This promo Sapiens Syndrome, because what got you here won't get you there. And so what's happened is you don't want to think any deeper. You're scared of the change. You're worried about the response. Listen, broke money don't make money. So we've got to get out there and invest a little bit in reinvigorating ourselves and kicking ourselves forward. And kicking our brand, reinvigorating that brand in our market. Shake it up. Let's make people think, hey, where in the heck did they come from? And let me tell you what happens. Every time, this used to happen to me a lot when I was at McWilliams, I would be doing something and we would do it for 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, something cool like 777 or the Sailor Mac buyback, right? Give it 6 months and somebody else will like another competitor. Well, all of a sudden they'll start doing it. Well, they don't have lasting power. So what happens is they like rig a hard blitz for like 2 months and they're like, this was expensive. And it's because there's no intentionality behind it other than trying to kick me in the butt. So also side note for those of you that struggle with that, every time I do something, they do it too. If you're not getting kicked in the butt, it means you're not in the front. So if they're constantly copying you and following everything you do, good. There's a reason they're a follower. Keep innovating. Keep thinking outside the box. Keep doing things first. Believe me, consumers notice that more than you think. But again, on the promo Sapiens Syndrome, get away from those basic promotions. Think outside the box. Think more campaign style, and think about things that are just different. They're just different. Again, this is what Lemon Seed excels at, but you also can be great at this. All right. So the third thing is the Vanishing Brand Act, right? That's going to be our third mistake. So like abracadabra, right? Your logo is there, but ain't jack else happening. You're not consistent. You've got weird taglines. You don't even have a tagline, or you're using someone else's tagline. Your fonts are all different because you know what? You just felt like using a curly font today. Or I felt like using something that looked like graffiti. Isn't this cool? No. Okay. It's not cool. It might have been fun to do, but it confuses the consumer. And let me say this, you're like, whatever, that's not true. Listen, it is true. It is true that you will have an issue with what you're doing. Okay. You are going to have people are going to know you for who you are. But when you have no taglines and no fonts, you can use it. It looks fun, it looks cool, it looks great. But it's like your brand is just there. People are not making the connection, right? And so, no, we don't need to have it melting, your logo all of a sudden going from block font to cursive. And listen, there's things that you can do to really, like, if you want to do something for pink out for breast cancer awareness, there's cool things you can do. But altering your actual logo or just sticking your logo on things is not a branded approach. Remember, brand is more than the logo. It's the overall perception. It's how you make people feel. And so let's stick to brand standards. So I'm going to take a pro tip right here. If right now you were to call Lemon Seed, I want you to think this is one of the things I'm going to ask clients for, and they do not have it. Even those of you that have been rebranded and branded by professional companies, I need a brand guide from you. So right now, if you do not have a brand guide, meaning you can't tell me what your exact colors are, what your fonts are, what your logo actually looks like, and have it in multiple formats. So listen, if you have a format of your logo that ends in .jpeg as in a JPEG, you do not have a brand kit. You have a picture of a logo. Okay. And listen, you can't scale that up. Listen, I had to learn this because designers would be like, Crystal, you've lost your mind. We have a whole team of designers, And they'll be like, girl, we can't do anything with this because it distorts and it gets pixelated and it's not the best quality. And designers take a lot of pride in how good and clear and crisp things look. And so for us to like throw a JPEG in there, so odds are most of you that are listening do not even have a brand guide. You have a logo that your cousin from, your cousin's college roommate from 6 years ago was getting into graphic design and he designed it and he sent it to you. That's cool, but that's not what we got. We have to start actually having brand standards of how we use our logo, because you know why? That is important for consistency. It is important for exposure. It is important that people really know who you are and they experience the look of your logo all the time. And it's the same. So this is my pet peeve when people have 5 different van wraps driving around. Now, there is some strategic ways. Remember, strategy is it culture eats strategy for breakfast, I'll tell you that. But strategy is where most people place no importance. And so I'm like, man, if we were strategic and why we were doing these 5 different vans, so we wanted to do a different van, a different color, but we kept the layout the same. Graphic designers are experts in knowing kind of how to bring a vision to life. But some of y'all, on one logo, it's got 2 different names, and then one area it's like graffitied, and one it looks like spray paint, and then one's a whole different color because we were in a black and white phase. Like, no, that's not consistent. That's not doing you any favors. You're not keeping in front of customers consistently like you hope you are. So from your trucks to your televisions commercials and to your pieces of material. So what do you hand out to a homeowner? If you leave something behind, what does it look like? If your logo goes on a t-shirt, is that the same? Are you doing the same look everywhere? You should, because you're trying to be, every visual touch point that you can make with a consumer counts, right? So 7 to 10 times they need to experience your brand visually, right, for it to start recognizing. Well, think about how many times somebody might have to experience your brand when there's 5 different vans and 6 different logos. You have no signage on your building. Your billboards barely have your logo because you were worried about co-op dollars, so you stuck your manufacturer up there, but not your own logo. Or your vehicle has so much equipment written on it or put on it that you're building this manufacturer's brand. Like, listen, get yourself a brand and a brand guide. You don't have to reinvent the wheel to change your brand, to refresh it. But then I need you to be consistent. Your editorial way, the way that you write for your brand, the brand voice, needs to be consistent. Your visuals need to be consistent so that you can become unforgettable, not invisible, right? So I want to tell you something. When you look at these 3 mistakes that we see contractors making, I'm going to give it to you one more time. Spray and pray, throwing stuff against the wall, seeing if it sticks. Absolutely not. Dial in that avatar, start tracking. Promo Sapiens Syndrome, doing the same thing that you've done forever and being against change and things being boring with no brand flair and no campaign to it. And stop it. Evolve your messaging. Get more creative. Grow up, grow past it, right? Let's get aggressive. And last but not least, the Vanishing Brand Act of, well, my logo's on it and it's 4 different ways and stop, right? Get some standards, take pride in your brand, be consistently building that with every single interaction that people have with your brand. And you can really build something powerful when you invest in understanding, when you invest in the consistency that you need around this. Because I see a lot of times, this is what I want to say. I have a contractor. He's in a very competitive market, but we know what his problem is. He's so scared of everything that he won't do anything that he hasn't done forever, because what ifs, right? What if this happens, right? He worries about the outliers. Okay. Way more than the actuals of what's going to happen. We're worried about the 2 people that might say something than the majority of people that are going to experience our brand. So let me tell you something. Limitsy can help you with this. So those of you that have listened this far, I want to tell you, Limitsy can help you with all of these things. But I want you to remember something, lemon heads. Do not just throw your ads out like confetti. Build a brand that sticks, stay bold, stay bright and fresh. And you know what? You will grow your company because you are sticking to things and you're being consistent and you're pivoting and you're pushing and you're pulling and you're keeping your brand forward and you stay the course and you don't buy into all this new flashy stuff that's happening all the time. Right? That's not what you do. You are a rock star, right? This is no promo and no mojo. So we got to get our mojo back, right? Bad ads happen to good contractors all the time. I see it all the time. Good contractors just doing bad advertising work, bad marketing, bad messaging, bad structure, right? And so, guys, trust the professionals. Get some support. You don't have to live this life alone, right? Get you a marketing collaborator, someone like Lemon Seed that'll sit down and talk with you about these things. Don't feel like you just got to keep doing it, right? You need some support, and that's what we're here for. Help you build brands, help you organize your strategy, and more than anything, help you guys kick booty. Hey, if you love this episode, I'd love for you to give us a review. Follow us on social media. Thanks so much for sipping lemonade with us, guys. We will catch you next time right here at From the Yellow Chair. See you later.